Well, there was that one, and also you as well.
So you have been watching
I
me.
I love you. It's a great.
Oh, hold on. And I'm glad we've got that recorded. Say that again.
Well, you know.
That wasn't even set up. That's perfect.
To see that it wasn't reciprocated, though, Daniel. That was
friendship test. Shit.
yeah.
I love you too. Did I pass? Was it B+?
Hi, I'm Matt. I'm a 30-something with a 4-year-old stepdaughter and a pregnant fiance.
And I'm Daniel. I'm a 30-something, and I've had kids for a while, ranging from toddlers to teens.
Well then, hello there. Welcome to another episode of Ramblings of Dad Men. This is episode number 11. Once again, I am joined by Daniel. How are you, mate? How's your week been?
I'm very good. I've had a very busy week this week.
Can we just take a minute to say that was in one take?
It was one take, yes. Okay, I'll give you that. But what an intro.
Yeah. I didn't. I'm Matt, by the way. I never even introduced myself, but I'm sure people know us by.
20 seconds ago, you also heard he's Matt and I'm Dan.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Well, never mind. We'll get it right at some point. How's your week been?
We record that intro live every week, honest.
Yeah, Flossie will be like 23 and we're still doing this. Hi!
Bex was blind that at the end of every episode, you actually do the every week because she doesn't expect it.
Really?
Yeah, she thinks that you do that live every week. Obviously, she knows that it's post-production and stuff, but she has said that each week it feels as though you're doing it live.
I mean, in fairness, we generally do it.
Yeah. We just tend to cut it out.
Well.
So,
how has your week been?
Busy. So this week started off with a trip to Wigan College, Wigan campus with Callum. So obviously we're still doing the tour of the colleges. I went there just to have a look around, see what it was all about, see what courses that they're offering. Yeah, just generally just review it and have a chat to a few people, really. So that was good. That was interesting.
I drive past that place now and then, obviously, and obviously that's a college that I went to. That's changed significantly.
Massively.
I mean, did you go there when you was? I'm sure you must have.
Yes.
It was a lot.
You actually took me to one of your lessons once, which I thought was really strange. Like, I'm not at my own college. I know what. I go to somebody else's college.
I have vague recollections of this.
Yeah. So I remember the layouts of the halls, that rickety old lift and whatnot. That's all gone. It has changed massively. I needed a guide. I needed a map. It was obviously set up into 6 or 7 different segments, different buildings. The facilities are really good there. The teachers are really good. Yeah. It's definitely a marked improvement from times gone by.
I mean, it's quite ironic, isn't it? Well, obviously they must have put all the money in that one building at the front as opposed to the one building across the park for people that are from Wigan, I guess.
Well, so you'd think that, but the campus across the road, that's had a massive revamp as well. There's, I think, multi-million-pound development in there.
That opened up a couple of years ago and then got closed down again, didn't it? So has that opened up again?
Yeah. They've said that they've completely refreshed all of their IT suites, and that's now everything IT related over in that building. It's really good. It's set over 3 floors. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about it, really. They really impressed me. And obviously I got in with a lot of preconceptions from our time that, it was deemed not necessarily as good of a college. But genuinely after being there, I feel safe that if Callum chose to go there, that, he'd still get a very good education.
Do you know what he's swaying at yet?
No, he's still not quite sure, really. He's got a couple of different topics in his mind, but...
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. So, no, that was good. We did that. whistle-stop tour of my week. Nephew's birthday.
Oh, okay.
So that was good. We took the dog back to the vets to have a stitch removed, so she hates us. She had an operation earlier on in the year on her leg, and then by the time that she'd recovered from that, she'd gone through her first season, and we've opted to sort of have her spayed, basically. It has a lot more health benefits for the animal if they have it removed. So we did that, but obviously that meant that she, went back into another surgery. She's had a couple of stitches now, and one of those was sort of working its way out, but just hadn't come out. So we took her back to the vets just to sort of help that along.
I just want to point out the irony of us doing a podcast about procreating and dad and pets, and you're talking about ripping out the anatomy of a dog.
Well, that's where I thought the link was, Yeah. That links to another topic. We'll probably maybe think about bringing that up.
Oh, Beck's pregnant.
Fuck off, no. The exact opposite. Where do I think about the snip? Do I not?
Really? Maybe we should vote on it on Instagram at Ramblings of Dadman.
Do you want me to get the snip?
Yeah. Maybe this is good content.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Good for everybody else, not for me. What else? Beck's finished for half term, so she's winding up for 2 weeks of doing absolutely no work at all.
That's nice.
It is for her. I still get to work. And over the last week, it has culminated in us going to a friend's wedding yesterday. And you know what? It was an amazing day. I had no idea what to expect. So it was a fusion wedding. They had a Hindu ceremony and an English ceremony as well. And honestly, it was so enlightening. The Hindu ceremony itself, it is so much more emotive than the traditional Christian ceremony. There's so much more power and meaning behind every little piece. The Hindu priest that they had was amazing. He explained each part of the process, for people that didn't understand what was going on. I know both the bride and groom. I worked with them both, and they both looked amazing. And it was just such a good day. I smiling from ear to ear all day, watching them, and I was just so proud to sort of be part of that. So that sort of topped off our weekend, really.
That's good. That's good. Are you paying for it now?
I was this morning. But then we passed a lovely establishment that has got a reputation for fixing hangovers, some little golden arches, and instantly felt, 100% better.
It always works. Is it the breakfast as well?
Yes. Yeah.
It always works. Always works. I remember living in Manchester many moons ago and staying until 6 o'clock in the morning just so I could get a breakfast to go home. Our week has been a fairly quiet one, to be honest, but we did have a little bit of a scary moment. So nothing major or something. It's just a classic Matthew fuck up, to be honest with you. A couple of weeks ago, Becky's dad very kindly said, we'll buy something for the baby, kind of thing. And after a bit of deliberation, they said, we'll get you a cot, which was really nice. We hadn't got a cot. That was one of the things that we still needed to get, which was great. Really nice. We decided what kind of cot we wanted. Becky's dad went to the shop where we get everything from, which is IKEA. Pre-ordered it, all sorted. Great. So we knew that we had to wait a week for this cot or whatever. Now, I don't know if you know that for some reason, IKEA mattress size is ever so slightly out, whether it's a normal bed or it's always out. And that's where they get you, don't they? Because it's like £150 for a frame or something, and then £7,000 for a mattress.
Yeah.
Like, that's how they get you. And you can't get a cheaper one because it's about 20 millimeters out or something like that.
Yeah. No, we've got that.
So, I mean, we found that out the hard way with Floss's bed that we got. But we decided to get around this by ordering a mattress at a European size, and we got it from the other establishment where you get everything from, Amazon. Brilliant. We had the mattress. It was a lot cheaper. Cot was coming. Becky's dad goes up to pick up the cot. Despite the fact that he's already paid for the bastard thing, gets to IKEA. I'm sorry, we don't have that in stock.
Oh.
And Becky's dad was, are you joking me? I've paid for it. It said it's being delivered. It said it was being delivered to here. I'm here to pick it up. No, sorry, we don't have that in stock. It'll take up to 4 weeks for it to come. Are you joking? So we're like, what do we do? But also in the back of our minds, we're thinking we need to get the right effing cot because the mattress that we've got isn't going to fit otherwise.
Yeah.
So anyway, all IKEAs out of this particular bed size that we wanted was sold out. I don't know why. Brexit probably, something, there's just nothing anywhere. But anyway, we managed to order one on some website that we've never heard of, but it came a couple of days later and it was fine. We managed to get the right sizes, but yeah, it was a bit of a scary moment really, because at one point we weren't going to have a cot.
I'm still curious, like, how's that happened? Like, surely if he's got like some form of notification to say your order's ready, come and collect it.
The money literally came out of his account as well. He was like, I've bought it. You have my money.
I want my cot. Where is it? We don't have any cots in stock, sir. Please calm down, sir. Get off the desk, sir.
Yeah. That's the display model, sir. You can't disassemble it, sir. It got even worse at the start. We ordered a white cot and they said, well, we don't have the white cots in. We have a pink cot in. And we thought, well, do you know what? It's not ideal. We could always paint it. It'll not do. We'll get the pink one. And then he came in. He came in to pick up the pink cot, which they've already said we're going to give you a pink cot because we don't have the one that you've ordered. And then he came and he was like, yeah, we don't have that either. Ridiculous. We got a cot at the end. It took us so me and Becky have famously never had an argument yet. So we started doing the cot up yesterday, and the way that I asked her to does she want to start doing the cot, I was like, do you fancy our first argument, dear? Funny enough, it actually was quite painless, to be honest. It was quite easy to put up.
You see, think of your first argument almost like climaxing during sex. The longer you leave it, the harder it's going to be.
Yeah. I'm sure when the lack of sleep comes around, we'll get there.
Yeah, you see, I can help you train with that. Like the military train for years of how to do basic maneuvers. Yeah, I think we need to put you in sleep deprivation training.
And honestly, yeah.
I need to ring you every hour, and you need to answer 5 basic questions every hour for at least a week. We'll do that as a test, and then
if you could do that for the next maybe 5 years, I think that would be fine, because I do like my sleep. So this is gonna get.
Don't get me wrong, you might get one of those wonder babies that just sleeps from day one. In which instance, I'll hate you forever. But you need to prepare for the occasional bit of sleep deprivation. Yeah, and it's not even the fact that you won't get sleep. It's just you'll get broken sleep. So you'll get a couple of hours, then you'll be up for half an hour. Then you get a couple of hours, then you'll be up for an hour. And then you maybe get half an hour. That's why all dads decide to, at 6 o'clock of an evening when the news comes on, just catch a quick hour.
A 6 o'clock nap would sound good. It sounds good now when there's no baby here. So
you need to tell you, shed life. Go and get a shed, put a bed in it, and then that's it. I'm just going to Shed Love to fix some things.
Funny enough, there's another podcast that I listen to. It's not about dads or anything like that. It's just two blokes talking. And he works from home mostly. And he said that he's built a shed for his office. Ooh. I'm like, has he? Or is it that just a quiet place to go where he can...
It's an escapism thing. Yeah, I can relate. Netflix recommendation. It's just started the 3rd series. You.
Well, this was going to bring me into my second thing that we've done this week. The highlight of the week has been Netflix and No Chill. It's been... We have been powering through the Netflix this week. It's been military, operational style, binge watching. From your first Netflix recommendation, we've done Squid Game.
Oh, yes.
Wow, that's brilliant. I did hear that there was something about these subtle differences between the dubbed version and the subtitles version. We didn't get the choice really, so we watched the dubbed version, but it was brilliant. It was amazing.
Yeah. We'll not put any spoilers out there. I'll just point that out because some people may still be living under a rock somewhere and haven't watched it.
I can understand why it's the Netflix's most successful thing, isn't it?
It is good. We'll have a separate conversation, not to spoil it, but the ending, I wasn't too sure on. Otherwise, I think it was a good series.
Yeah, I know what you mean about the ending.
Well, let's not ruin that. So what else have we been watching?
Well, there was that one, and also You as well.
Ah, so you have been watching me.
I love You. It's a great...
Oh, hold on. And I'm glad we've got that recorded. Say that again.
Well, you know.
That wasn't even set up. That's perfect.
To see that it wasn't reciprocated, though, Daniel. That was
friendship test. Shit.
Yeah.
I love You too. Did I pass? Was it B+?
Just by the skin of your teeth, but you passed. Oh god, that's going back. So, well, actually, that takes me back on something else, diverting a little bit, because I don't know how many people would get that reference, but talking about another reference, me and Becky had an age gap like little moment yesterday. Becky's quite heavily tattooed. She's got quite a few tattoos, but she has a spare. The most of her top of her arm is blank. And she said, "Oh, what should I get now?" And I said, "You should just get a Steve-O tattoo of me." And she has no idea what I was talking about.
Wow.
Exactly, right?
Wow. I mean, you're going to have to take us to watch Jackass 4.
But the funny thing about it is that I said, he's from Jackass, and she said, "Oh, I've heard of Jackass. I used to watch Dirty Sanchez instead." I'm like, why? Why would you watch Dirty Sanchez and not Jackass?
You see, keyword there is instead. I watched both. So I've got all the Dirty Sanchez box sets. They're ace. They're really good. That was the English alternative version, wasn't it?
Yeah. There was no film
just for the detail orientated and potentially any Welsh fans out there, the British alternative version, not the English.
I was going to call you out on that, but I thought, well, do you know what? Let him dig your own grave.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was Jackass without the film budget, wasn't it? There was no.
Yeah.
It was just some guys getting drunk and.
It was it is 4 guys. There's 200 quid for a bunch of lager, and here's a GoPro. Film it in a bit.
Yeah, and a staple gun.
We'll pick you up in about a week. Let us know what you've done.
Do you know, funny enough, they were meant to be touring, but obviously COVID happened and it got cancelled. Maybe it was last year. 2
of the guys actually came up to Wigan. I'm talking 10 years ago now.
Yeah, did they do Walkabout?
Yeah, Walkabout and Jumping Jacks. And I never went, and I so wish I had, because I was just so curious of what I mean, this is it's a shit stunt show. What are they going to do in a nightclub? Are they going to go around happy slapping everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't understand the context of it, and it's not like they're just going to staple the other guy's left nut to a plank of wood.
Oh god!
Live on stage just for funnies. That was one of the best bits. It was funny.
Again, I remember what you showed me that clip in your bedroom. Again,
Oh, I mean, hold on. Let's just calm down. We played the DVD.
Yeah,
that was it. I didn't have just that clip.
We were 2 meters away from each other at all times. Top bunk, bottom bunk. It's all fine. That's how I got into Dirty Sanchez, was through you. But
you've just actually just jogged something in my memory. How old is Becky?
She's 25.
So, and I didn't realise this, but it's Tenacious D's 25th anniversary this year.
Oh, really?
Technically, she is as old as Tenacious D.
Yeah, and she's got a huge crush on Jack Black as well.
Is that why you're growing the face fuzz?
It's why I'm growing the weight.
You look like, at the minute, just to visualise you, for everybody else who's listening, He looks like Gwindor from He-Man.
Oh, I was going to go Gimli from Lord of the Rings.
No, you're not that cool. That's very fast becoming a recurring segment, isn't it? The Netflix recommendations.
It is. I think it's a good one. We're on the last episode of You so far, so we've
don't
smashed
spoil
that
it.
as well.
We've only watched 2 episodes so far.
It takes a turn.
I was guessing it would.
Yeah. So we'll have to talk about recommendations again because otherwise we clearly get stuck on. Although we have started watching One Bone Every Minute as well, so if we watched a few of them. A lot of screaming.
Yes, it is. It's really good. They changed the hospital. So I think it used to be in Leicester and then they moved to Liverpool or the other way around.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
Maybe Birmingham.
Yeah.
But
Some of the early ones were certainly have different accents and the later ones we're watching are definitely. Okay. So we are week 33 of the pregnancy. The baby is the size of a pineapple.
Okay.
The first thing I said to Becky when she told me that this morning, she's got like a little app on her watch that tells her all the time. I was like, imagine pushing a pineapple out. Surely that's the most painful fruit that we've had so far.
Spiky end first or last?
Oh. Which way would you go? Surely I'd say the opposite way because once you've got the girth out, surely it's a little tug.
Yeah, but you've got all them spiky top bits, like the little herd cut thing, the top. I don't know which way I'd rather go.
I'd go neither. She tried to say, well, imagine you pushing an apple through your penis hole, and I'm like, surely it's not an apple. Surely the scale isn't that big. I just said plum, maybe. Thinking of the scale.
I mean, even a plum's a big order.
I know.
Plum through a Jap's eye.
I'll leave everyone with that image today. We'll move on. Podmin. How are we doing for Podmin this week?
I mean, I've got one. I thought I had none, but then after reviewing, I was quite clear last week that you were an absolute arsehole for saying that you'd screw anything into a baby's head. Apparently, and I'd never heard this. This did genuinely, as I was looking at it, it got sent to me just to say that there is a device that does get screwed into the top of the baby's head, into the soft part, to monitor baby's heartbeat and make sure everything's okay. It just looks like a 19th century torture tool. It is horrid. It's like a corkscrew.
It's literally a corkscrew, isn't it?
In my defence, it's used for monitoring. It's not used for pulling the baby out.
Yeah, it's not like coffee duck.
Your version of it was you screw something into the baby's head just to give it a little tug and pull it out.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'll take half the responsibility for that. My Podmin in comparison is I think relatively minor, but still wrong. In the episiotomy section of our little quiz, I said that the episiotomy is stage 1 and 4, when in fact it's the tear that is stage 1 to 4. So just to clarify that you don't do stage 4 episiotomies there. The doctor doesn't come out with a meat cleaver and say, we need to go deeper this time.
Yeah. Which one's next?
Yeah. So yes, it's a tear that is that goes off in stages.
To be fair, I didn't pull you up on that either. But I heard that and I was like, give the benefit of the doubt. He's fucked up the rest of them. Let's just let him off this one.
Yeah. So, I mean, given last week's episode was half an hour of apologies, I think we did all right there. I mean, apart from all the false information that we gave out. So, a couple of things I want to talk about this week, but I thought just before we do that, it'll be quite funny to just mention something that happened today, actually. A funny story that Fossey asked about. So we're having spaghetti bolognese, and out of nowhere, she asked the question, Mummy, can we talk about all the different ways that the baby could come out? So do you wanna hear a couple of corkers that could happen?
Was this Flossie asking, or was this Flossie telling you?
Flossie was asking, so we said, what do you think happens?
Oh, you flipped it on her. Wow.
So So she came out with we've got 4 examples of what she thinks happens, and so number 1 was that it would just fall out.
Yeah, Becky is definitely hoping for that.
Yeah, for some people maybe. So she also said that maybe it just comes out your bum and you poo it out and then you fish it out of the toilet.
You thought that at one point, so yeah.
Yeah, that's I think we mentioned that last week or the week before, didn't we? The third one is she literally described a C-section.
Oh.
She said maybe we just have a little cut that goes to your tummy and we're able to pull it out. And then the last one was that we just get a cup and we scoop it out. So,
again, 19th century torture technique.
Yeah. I'm like, where's that cup going?
Yeah, here's an ice cream scoop. I'm just gonna get the baby.
Yeah. So very quickly we tried to divert that conversation, but I thought it was quite a little funny conversation. But in fairness, she over these past few weeks she's grown up and active. We went to the park today. Honestly, Flossie has had a better fucking social life than us these past couple of weeks. She's been to a party today. She went to Blackpool last night. Today we just went to the park and she decided to take a teddy to the park with her, which she's never done before. But she wasn't going on the playground per se. She was taking the teddy on the playground and doing all the things for her, almost like a big sister, little sister role. So she in her head, she must be like thinking this is part of her job. So she has grown up a little bit more now, and I think she is wanting the baby to come. We have seen some decent changes, and the star chart's been working too. Over the past 2 weeks, we've had 3 new meals, so that's wow. That's really good. Fajitas, and obviously she's had peppers, omelettes, and what was the other thing? I can't even remember what the other thing was.
Chicken fowl.
Well, we were thinking about a curry.
So on the curry topic, so the wedding that we went to at the weekend, the sit-down meal at the evening, the mains were all curries. Beck was a little bit apprehensive. She's thinking, I don't know which one's going to be spicy and not. It was a whole other taste sensation.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was so nice. Not a single one was spicy. Very rich, very flavoursome. It was amazing. I'm almost converting myself. It is really good food.
Wow.
So yeah, maybe you get a chicken fowl but cooked properly, and it's not going to be spicy.
I used to be based in Preston a lot more, and where I worked, there was it wasn't a restaurant, it wasn't a takeaway. It was kind of a shop that do fresh curries, but you have to put them in your oven when you get home, kind of thing. It was like a microwave meal, for a better word, but it was just heating it up, and it was one of the nicest curries I've ever had. But it was just some old guy that had just been batch cooking curry, I guess, for a better word. And that's when I got introduced to paneer for the first time, which I absolutely love, a paneer curry.
That concludes the cooking section.
Yeah, we've done TV and film, we've done curry. What we haven't done is to talk about any parenting. So one of the things I wanted to talk about today was we are effectively in limbo now, in terms of we think that we've done everything, in terms of we've got everything that we think we need. There might be a couple of things we're probably not, maybe have underestimated about the stuff that we need. We probably need a lot more stuff, but we certainly have the basics. So we're in a position where we're just waiting for the baby. Becky, day by day, is getting more and more pregnant. She's
I don't know if you know, man, but that's sort of how it works.
It does. But, so as we've discussed in the Matthew Swayze section of our podcast, Becky is quite blessed upstairs. So she has to wear these bras, which are very specifically fitted for people with larger breasts. They are very comfy bras for bigger people, and she's on the largest ones now. And she says, I don't know what I'm going to do to try and stop these because they are still growing. So I suggested, 2 JD bags that you can get from the olden days. You'd tie them together on a drawstring, and that didn't go down too well.
She could try the whole thing that Jodie Marsh did quite a few years ago and just get a couple rolls of duct tape and just, tape those bad boys in place.
Man.
She might look like she's going to war, but it may provide some form of relief. I don't know. I've run out of bras. What should I do? Here's a roll of duct tape.
So my point is, she's getting a bit more, uncomfortable. We're trying to go out for daily walks. We're trying to walk a couple of miles a day. We generally walk about 2 miles a day to try and keep her all active. What did you do in this limbo time, I guess? Because you're good at being planned. I imagine that you had everything sorted out more or less.
Yeah.
At the same kind of point where we are. Is it just a waiting game? Is there anything else you need to do? Or am I just, that metaphorical punching bag for now? Because, she's getting more and more stressed and I'm just there to try and help out as much as I can. Like, what's my role at the minute?
You've sort of hit the nail on the head. I mean, don't forget, you are still only 33 weeks. So I do feel your pain a bit. Well, I feel Becky's pain more than yours. But potentially this could go to 40. 40 weeks is full gestation. At 42 weeks is where they'll allow you to go up to.
So full term for us is anything from 4 weeks to 9 weeks now, I think. 4 weeks to 9 weeks today.
Yeah. So you sort of get into that point where she could come at any point. There's nothing you can do at this point other than wait. We tried everything, and I think other people in your position will have tried everything they possibly can. Hot food, lots of Barry White and Patrick Swayze type stuff moment. Lots of walking, and that's just things that they suggest. The walking's got two benefits really. One, it keeps you healthy, but two, as you say, it just keeps everything sort of engaged and active and moving and stretching things out and whatnot. I think the traditional alarm bells where percentages start going up, and again I can be fact checked on this, but it's sort of 36 weeks onwards is where a good percentage of pregnancies sort of happen between the 36 and 40 week window. So you've still got a couple of weeks yet. So unfortunately, it is just waiting.
Yeah.
I think Beck, I'll have to come back to you and clarify, but she was still working, I think, at that point. So that gave her something to sort of distract her with. And then I think she had a week or two where she was off and then gave birth. And then, that was her. So I have nothing for you. Fortunately.
Just be patient and stop being,
Yeah, you can't rush it. Mother Nature will let things happen. I mean, obviously, everything you're saying, it just sort of says that the baby's engaged and, things are swelling. Unfortunately, I think she's not going to want to hear this, but she might have a couple more weeks off that, yeah.
Yeah, and don't get us wrong. Like, we're in no one that we're happy to wait and to see that she's healthy and everything, but is it at this point where your Beck became the most uncomfortable, I guess? Is it just, does this just get worse and worse now, I guess?
Well, I don't know. I can't comment at this point. She sort of started to waddle. The last couple of weeks, we just sort of ramped it up. And as I said, we were walking 5K every day. It was middle of summer, so she was naturally uncomfortable anyway. Where we live, there's a load of nature walks, so we used to walk out there a lot. I did get a little bit fearful that we'd be in the middle of the woods and the waters would go, and we'd have to go au naturel, and I'd be delivering the baby in the middle of the wilderness.
We've had the same thing, so we've not had the same thing yet, but I've had the same scare. There's a little, it's not much, but it's a nice little woods, like right behind our house, which leads onto a park, probably about a 10-15 minute walk all in all. And then the park is probably about a mile long as well. So I'm thinking about, oh my days, I'm going to end up giving a baby. Like delivering a baby here.
Which in reality probably won't happen anyway. So that's all we did. We just walked a lot. And she had one of those exercise balls.
Yeah.
Just bounced on that a lot watching telly. But I know she wasn't the most comfortable. She wasn't sleeping. And, Becky's probably going through this now. She's going through that military training of the sleeplessness and the sleep deprivation. Whereas you're probably getting continuous unbroken sleep and you're happy.
No, the opposite. Becky's wriggling at night, we have a pillow barrier up at the minute to try and keep her back as stable and secure as possible. Honestly, we have about 12 pillows for various uses at the minute. And she is wriggling quite a bit. And he can't complain because, she's going through all that. But I have had some unbroken sleep as well. Topping and tailing has helped for us every now and then.
Wow.
When one of us are being pissed off with each other, which is usually when I've got 3 pillows on my head because I've been snoring throughout the night. She's trying to shut me up by putting a pillow on me. Yeah, we've topped and tailed a couple of times, but
I mean, Matt, sort of one of the things I was going to not prep you for, but talk about was like the week before the big event. It sounds like you're already there, really.
Okay.
That I think you're pretty much in for more of the same now, leading up until the actual big event.
So I guess what's your experience? Maybe just a little bit longer than a week out, maybe like 2 weeks out, something.
Yeah.
Is that any different or?
No, I mean, Beck could still get around. She was waddling a lot. There was a lot of, during the day we'd go for walks, and then of an evening, she sat watching telly. I was then on back tickle duty, and I had zero ability to decline, whether I liked it or not. I just had to try and make her comfortable. So that was literally the only thing I had to do.
You mentioned about Beck still working, Becky's still working. Her intention is to work up until the 30th, and then our due date is a week later. So she's working right up until to the last minute.
Yeah.
That may change, but at the minute that's what we're going for. But yeah, I think I've kind of got that role of it's just massages, and just got to remember that she's going to do all the hard work, isn't it? So really,
exactly,
it's just it's a little sacrifice, I guess.
The actual birth, now that's going to be something different. So like when she's actually giving birth, I suppose then everything sort of goes out the window. You've spent all this time waiting. You're probably a little bit ahead of the game in terms of where you're at now and your anticipation levels. When's it going to happen? When's it going to come? As you've just said, you're both working from home. I'm not going to say it's like you've finished, because obviously you're both working hard anyway. But for me, it wasn't until Beck had finished, she still went out every day to work.
That I think that's the thing. So our routine has changed dramatically. Usually, she'd be working in the office, I'd be working out and about. So that is a huge change. And the fact that we're, I guess, in the past week, we spent maybe an hour away from each other. It's quite different. But yeah, that
it is. But once you actually get to the big event, that's when all of this, that all disappears. And then adrenaline kicks in. It's like you're being chased by a big bear. Literally, you could kick walls down. You're filled with adrenaline. And that's got to be a primal thing. Once you get into it, it'll all just happen. This was actually the advice that I gave to my friends. A wedding day, it goes by in the blink of an eye. You wake up and you're trying to plan each minute. Same with the birth. You sort of know roughly what to expect. Obviously, you will know. You've been watching One Born every minute. You'll have a general idea of what's going to be happening, but it'll just happen, and you'll just be living in the moment. And because you're living in the moment, it will just happen so fast. So just try and sort of embrace that and take in every little bit that you can. Is my personal advice. You'll have, maybe a couple of hours here and there where, not much is happening. That was sort of with Beck. She went in. Her contraction started at 5 a.m. and she was in hospital 11 o'clock of the morning. But then they advised her to go and take a bath in one of the hospital baths on the maternity ward. So she did that. But that was like an hour and a half, really, of her just having a bath there, because she was in a bit of a grey area of whether they should or shouldn't admit her. She did that, but that's like an hour and a half of just not waiting around from your perspective, but just supporting her, doing whatever you can.
Yeah. About you being useful and useless at the same time, I guess.
Exactly, yeah. And that's when I was reading Take a Break or whatever it was. And I just sort of had to read that out loud for her, because she was concentrating on these contractions. She's going through active labour. The only thing she can think about is maybe a minute of pain, and then it goes and disappears for 3-5 minutes, and then it comes back. So then once you're moved on to the actual delivery suite, things ramp up again, and there's machines everywhere, hooked up to all sorts of monitors, and you may have a different experience if it's at home, which is great, and you may not have necessarily all the machines. Your experience at home may just be, you're watching Gran Tour, you're watching Home Alone, something, you're watching a film, and that's on in the background between contractions, and it's a bit more of a relaxed atmosphere, and the midwives will be there to support you.
Well, we've discussed that before, haven't we? The whole point of trying for a home birth is one, COVID isn't going away, but two is to try and have that control. And Becky's last labour was 3 days long, and to try and keep her calm and as out of distress as possible, she feels comfier at home. So it will probably be a Christmas film or some sort of easy watching thing where we can just try and take a mind off it a little bit and have a ball. Or so that's the whole plan, and hopefully and obviously we had to have a hospital trip last week that we mentioned. And even if it gets to a point where Becky can't take the pain at all, it may be that she's in hospital, but she's only in hospital for 2 or 3 hours because she's done the most of it at home anyway. And I thought that was a really good way of looking at it, actually.
Yeah.
Push out.
That is, I mean, that was how you got in this place to begin with.
Yeah.
But that's what they want, really. They want to try and get you having a bath at home, get you to the point where you can just come in and be admitted to one of the delivery rooms, give birth, and then maybe stay in overnight if it's late, or be out in the same day. That's the ideal for hospitals. They've only got so many rooms. If you do get to do this entire experience at home, then that's even better. As you said, you'll be a lot more comfortable. You'll be in familiar surroundings. So that'll be better. I think my only bit of advice when you do actually get to that point is don't try and change hands when she's pushing.
Okay.
So I made that mistake. When Beck started pushing, I gave her my hand to hold, and she started squeezing into it with the contractions. But I'm not talking like a dad does to a kid where he's just squeezing the hand or a firm handshake. I'm talking nails into the back of my hand.
Ooh.
But that was comforting for her. That was like biting down on something. That was helping her. So in between contractions, she found a very comfortable position, holding my hand in a specific way. I started to feel a bit of pain, and it was starting to hurt a little bit. And I know, saying that out loud now, I'm an absolute knobhead, but it was hurting. So I thought, I know what, I'll just give her the whole switcheroo, and you're in the same position, love. Here's my hand. If looks could kill, I would not be here right now. So I switched hands. She went, what the fuck is that? Give me your other hand back now. I don't want that hand. I want the other one. I went, but it's hurting. Don't ever complain about being in pain when a woman's going through labour. That was my big mistake. But it's hurting. It's fucking hurting. Do you want to know what pain is? I went, okay, here's my hand.
The only one way that could have made it better if you asked for the gas and air. Sorry, my hand's a bit hurt. Can you just pass me this, love, a second? Right. Oh, that's all right, love. I don't know what you're talking about. It's good stuff, this.
Can you give me one of those injections where I can't feel anything, please? We got through it. My hand was only broken in 3 places. I was already in hospital, so it was okay. I just got went straight to the fracture clinic after. No, it was a worthwhile cause. Let's just put it that way.
It's your little sacrifice.
Yeah, don't try and switch hands, and don't ever complain about being in pain. You stub your toe, just swallow it. Just accept it. Stand on some Lego. Fucking don't complain.
Yeah.
unless someone is taking that 19th century torture device and screwing it into your ball sack, trying to pull them off, you are not allowed to complain.
Is that how you sterilise you these days?
Yeah, that's that, and apparently a cup to scoop them out.
Oh, God. And I think on that note...
Yeah, That's a lot of rambling this week.
We have done a lot of rambling this week. Maybe in the next couple of weeks we'll do a deep dive to the birthday.
Yes, let's. Before we go, I just want to quickly congratulate the winner of our brownie giveaway, Sandra Paul 1983. Congratulations again on winning some delicious Blue Anchor Bakery brownies. Keep giving the guys a follow at Blue Anchor Bakery. They'll keep making brownies long after this. And you may notice on our latest Instagram post there's a picture of me and Matthew wearing some branded Ramblings of Dad Men t-shirts. That was done courtesy of Holly's Heart Creations. There'll be tags in the Instagram so you can go and give them a follow.
So I definitely think that's enough rambling for this week. Daniel, it's been a pleasure as always.
I won't speak to you in the week. I'll see you next week because apparently we only talk once a week these days.
Yeah, exactly. I'll catch you next week, and thanks for listening. See you later.
See you later, everyone. Thanks.